Most people believe that making bad decisions is a matter of lack of intelligence, lack of experience, lack of discipline, or lack of maturity. But it's none of that. The real cause is something much more basic and invisible. Impulse. Impulse is that sudden force that takes control of your action before you even have time to think. It is fast, emotional, intense, and almost always pushes you in the opposite direction of what you should do. It's impulse that makes you eat what you shouldn't, spend what you don't need, argue when you should stay silent, quit when you should persist, postpone what should be done now. And the most dangerous part is that it acts in less than a second. If you don't understand how to control that 1 second, your entire life can be shaped by bad decisions you didn't even notice you made. Today, you will learn how to control impulses and bad decisions through the 5 internal mechanisms that govern your behavior. When you understand these mechanisms, something shifts inside your mind. You stop being someone who reacts automatically and become someone who chooses consciously. And that is the moment your life gains direction. Mechanism 1. Creating space between impulse and action. There is an invisible moment between feeling and acting. It is tiny, but it holds all your mental strength. Most people don't have this space. The impulse appears and instantly becomes behavior. They feel anger and explode. They feel desire and obey. They feel laziness and stop. They feel fear and run. The smaller this interval is, the more you are a slave to your emotions. Controlling impulses is not about eliminating what you feel. It's about increasing the space between what you feel and what you do. This brief interval allows you to think, evaluate, observe. It allows you to choose. This is the muscle of self-control. You train it every time you wait 5 seconds before acting, breathe once before responding, or pause briefly before deciding. Small seconds create great control. Mechanism 2. Training the mind to tolerate discomfort. The root of impulsive behavior is one simple truth. You seek immediate relief. Every time you act impulsively, it's because your brain wants to escape discomfort, boredom, anxiety, frustration, uncertainty, irritation. The lower your tolerance to discomfort, the more impulsive you become. People who control their impulses are not emotionless, they are trained. They learned to feel discomfort without panicking, to feel anxiety without running, to feel irritation without reacting, to feel desire without obeying. Controlling impulses is not about blocking emotions, it's about withstanding them without surrendering. This is trained daily in small moments, not checking your phone every minute, not opening the fridge out of anxiety, not responding immediately, not seeking instant distraction. Every time you endure a few seconds of discomfort, you strengthen your power of choice. The discomfort doesn't disappear, you simply become bigger than it. Mechanism 3. Interrupting the internal narrative that pushes you into mistakes. The impulse alone doesn't cause damage. What does cause damage is the story you tell yourself in a split second. Just today, it's no big deal. I'll compensate later. I deserve this. No one will notice. It won't make a difference. This narrative is the real trap. It convinces you to make a bad decision by offering perfect excuses that feel true in the moment, but destroy you in the long run. Controlling impulses means mastering that narrative. It means recognizing when you're trying to deceive yourself. It means noticing when your mind is creating excuses to reinforce habits you should have abandoned long ago. When that narrative appears, you must stop and ask one question. Does this move me closer or further from the person I want to be? That single question breaks the internal lie and forces your awareness to take the lead. Mechanism 4. Reducing decision points. The more decisions you must make throughout the day, the weaker your self-control becomes. The mind gets tired, attention drops, and impulse finds openings. That's why disciplined people don't rely on constant decisions. They create rules. Rules are decisions you made while rational to protect yourself from making bad decisions when you're emotional. For example, I don't touch my phone before finishing X. I trained at the same times regardless of my mood. I don't buy anything that isn't on the list. I never argue when I'm angry. These rules reduce the space for bad decisions. They remove the need to think and replace it with following a plan. Whoever tries to decide everything in the moment loses. Whoever creates clear rules protects their behavior. Mechanism 5. Aligning identity with self-control. Impulses dominate people who have a fragile identity. When you see yourself as impulsive, disorganized, undisciplined, your mind uses that identity as an excuse to repeat the same mistakes. If you want real control over your impulses, you must adopt a new identity, the identity of someone who thinks before acting, someone who chooses, someone who observes, someone who controls. The change begins simply. You start acting like a person who has self-control, even before feeling like one. You speak calmly. You breathe before responding. You wait a moment before deciding. You behave like someone who has control. And little by little, your identity changes. When identity changes, behavior changes naturally. You stop fighting impulses and start acting like someone who is above them. Controlling impulses and bad decisions is not a battle against who you are. It's a battle against automatic patterns you never noticed were controlling your life. Impulse will always appear. Discomfort will always exist. The internal narrative will always try to mislead you. But now you understand the mechanisms. Now you have awareness. Now you know where the real control is. And when you create space to choose, build tolerance to discomfort, master your internal stories, reduce decision points, and construct identity, you finally become someone who acts by choice, not by emotion. When your decisions stop being impulses and start being conscious choices, your entire life changes direction.